Well, today I thought I'd make hand sanitizer. I intended to make this about, must be a month ago now. But when I went on the internet to get the ingredients, it sold out, they'd all gone. Part and parcel of this sort of panic buying. And we're now into the middle of April, and you go on the internet, then hand sanitizer is available, albeit you can't buy it in bulk, and it might take you a fortnight before it arrives. So for this you need 3 ingredients. The first thing you need is a source of strong alcohol, and there are basically 2 of them. One is isopropanol, which is often called rubbing alcohol, and this one is ethanol. Now, rubbing alcohol, when I was intending to do this, you couldn't get for love nor money. It was it was almost as expensive as gold if you could get hold of it. But this is 96% ethanol, and it's used for these fancy fires. But it does contain about 4% of other chemicals which will do you serious damage if you drink it. And it tells you there on the side of the bottle. And it says there, not for human consumption. The second ingredient is aloe vera skin purifying gel. And again, you couldn't get hold of this a month ago. This came from India, and it's taken a month to arrive. It probably came on the back of a bike. And the third thing you need are some sort of essential oils, which you can put a few drops in, which makes the stuff smell a lot better than just raw alcohol. And there's an assortment there, neroli and oil of rose. What's the other one? Oh, there's lavender, which is very strong, and ylang ylang. But you could add your favourite perfume if you wanted to, as long as you don't dilute it too much and render it non-effective. Anyway, the next thing we have to deal with is the safety precautions. So these are the precautions when handling isopropanol and or ethanol. And these little codes down the left hand side come from some international scale to do with health. So H335, it may cause respiratory irritation, otherwise when you breathe it in it irritates your lungs. H336, it may cause drowsiness or dizziness. In other words, if you're in an enclosed space and it builds up in the air, it makes you feel drunk. And in high concentrations, you could become unconscious and vomit. And vomiting when you're unconscious is not a good thing. You choke to death. H319, it causes serious eye irritation. So if you get it in your eyes, you've got to put your eye under running water and keep it there for several minutes. If you've got contact lenses in, of course, you've got to take them out. And H225, it's highly flammable in both liquid and vapour form. So you don't want to be doing this anywhere near naked lights. And H CO2, of course, they're harmful if you swallow them, especially these, because they contain things like small amounts of methanol, which in large concentrations could kill you. So this preparation must be carried out in a well ventilated space away from naked flames. I mean, sometimes you don't even think about it, like pilot lights on cookers and gas boilers. And hot surfaces, so obviously you don't want smoking. You just imagine it's like handling petrol, really. And then for hand sanitizer to be effective, it must contain at least 60% alcohol, preferably 70%. that is 140% proof, and there is a difference, and you can look it up on the internet. You cannot make it from spirits like vodka, as they only contain 40% alcohol. In other words, they're 70% proof. This is Russian vodka. It's only standard Russian vodka. You can get more strong stuff than this. But anyway, like all spirits, particularly in this country, they only contain 40% of alcohol. In other words, they're 70% proof. But that's 70% proof doesn't mean 70% alcohol. 70% proof means about 35–40% alcohol. So you can't make it from this stuff, despite what it says on the internet. Well, you can make it, but it's not effective. So to make it strong enough, I need 300 millilitres of that and 700 millilitres of this. And then take them outside and mix them. It says there's 500 in there. And I've come to measure out 300 millilitres. There's next to none left. It must be a sort of Indian metric measurement. Anyway, there it is, 300 millilitres in that little jug. That's 700 mils of alcohol, 300 millilitres of aloe vera gel. Tip them into a big bowl, take them outside and mix them thoroughly. And then add the essential oils until it smells nice. Well, there are two lots. One smells of lavender and the other one smells of neroli, sort of orange blossom. I just need to stick them in a container. And then don't forget to label them and make sure that you put the inflammable on the label, and if you've enhanced it with a little essential oil and put that on there. This is lavender, and then you just use that for topping up the little bottle you take out with you. I mean, if you're at home, you just wash your hands with soap and water. This is only to be used really when soap and water isn't readily accessible. If you've been out and about shopping and you get back to your car, you might just squirt some of this onto your hands and rub it in. The alcohol will kill the virus. The aloe vera will make your hands as smooth as silk. And the lavender will make your hands smell, well, what shall I say, nice, or nicer. Well, there we are, job done. With all these shortages, things you couldn't get your hands on, although you probably can now. Years ago, I was an old dalesman who was telling us what had happened during the war, which is probably quite pertinent. At the beginning of the war, he and all his mates were cajoled into joining, I think it was called a Civil Defence Corps. No, I can't remember now, but anyway, it ultimately ended up as a Home Guard. And of course, there wasn't enough uniform to go around. He said, so there were some people had trousers and some people had tops and some people had shirts. Some people got gaiters, and some got boots, but nobody, apart from officers, seemed to have the complete kit. but they were all summoned, having done their sort of basic training, to an exercise out in the countryside. So they were all ferried out there, and when they arrived, there was sort of several officers there. He said, I think the top man there was a colonel, but anyway, there was the major seemed to be the man who was running the show. I think the rest of them were just there as observers. And he said, when we arrived, we were all expecting a gun and some ammunition. He said, but there wasn't any. He said this major started explaining it to us, and on these trestle tables there was a great pile of broom shanks, sort of 3-inch fence posts. He said a great big pile of stones, or clemmies as he called them. He said the major was explaining that some of us would be allocated a broom shank. This was a rifle. He said, and you pointed at people and you go, bang, bang. He said, if the observers, they were obviously the other officers over there, he said if they thought you shot somebody, they'd point at this person and they would have to lie down for the rest of the exercise. And then he moved along the trestle table, he come to the fence posts, of which there were a few of these. He said, and he explained to us, he said these were a Bren gun. He said, and he pointed this, he said, he go, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. He said, and again, he said, if the officer thinks you've hit something, then that's out of the exercise. He said, we were absolutely stifling, laughing. He said, if you were seen, that was it, you were allowed to be carted off. And then he said he came to this big pile of clemmies. He said, these are hand grenades. He said, and you throw these in the manner that has been explained to you on your basic training. He said, and they go boom, boom. I thought at this time he was taking a mick. I thought it was all one big joke. But he was dead serious. He said, he continued, he said, and the major said, well, you'll be divided off into 2 groups, he said, and group number 1, they will be defending this hill behind me. He said, and group number 2, you will be attacking it. You understand? Okay, away you go. He said we all divided off like hell. Meanwhile, these officers all sort of stood to one side and were all puffing on their pipes and smoking their cigarettes. He said in no time at all, he said there was blokes running round, bang, banging and rat-tat-tatting, booms, booms, all over the place. Well, I was falling off my chair listening to this tale. He said, hey, he carried on, he said, this friend of mine, he said, Michael, he said he come trudging up this hill towards me. He said, absolutely out of breath. He said, he was a great big bloke, and he said he was wearing Wellington boots with his trousers stuck down inside them, and a jacket that was too small. He said, he come towards me, he said, let fly with me broom shank. Bang, 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 bang. He said, he just carried on. And this officer who was watching all this going on, he said he never said a word. He said, he carried on up towards me. He's totally unbothered. He said, I got to within about 20 feet of me. He said, I was bang, bang, banging away. He said, and nothing happened. He just carried on, and this officer still never said anything. He said, he got right up to me. He said, knocked me flat on my back. He said, I stood on with his word passed. He says, I went past, I heard him say, clank, clank, I'm a tank. Well, whether it was true or not, I have no idea, even to this day. And since then, of course, we went Dan's Army on the television, so I wouldn't be at all surprised. Anyway, on that note, take care. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.